Thank you, William. And thanks to all of our children this morning who have shared their poetry and their readings and their signs. You all did a fantastic job. Thanks for that. And please know that as we adults prepare to soon cast our ballots, know that we do so in your name. For you are the generation that will be living with the consequences of our choices for longer than any of us. You are the generation that will be asked to tend that precious flame that we leave to you, and to carry that flame forward to your children and to your grandchildren. Let us all pray that we adults don't foolishly let that flame go out. But even if it does, I'm confident that you, our amazingly talented children, the future leaders of this world, will find a way to relight it. As I was preparing for this service, I revisited a poem entitled "Pity the Nation," written by the Lebanese-American poet Khalil Gibran. While this poem was written almost 100 years ago, his words continue to ring true, almost as if it was written for these times we're living in today. Pity the Nation, written in 1933. Pity the nation that is full of beliefs and empty of religion. Pity the nation that wears a cloth it does not weave and eats a bread it does not harvest. Pity the nation that acclaims the bully as hero and that deems the glittering conqueror bountiful. Pity a nation that despises a passion in its dream, yet submits in its awakening. Pity the nation that raises not its voice save when it walks in a funeral, boasts not except among its ruins, and will rebel not save when its neck is laid between the sword and the block. Pity the nation whose statesman is a fox, whose philosopher is a juggler, and whose art is the art of patching and mimicking. Pity the nation that welcomes its new ruler with trumpeting and farewells him with hooting, and to welcome another with trumpeting again. Pity the nation whose sages are dumb with years and whose strong men are yet in the cradle. Pity the nation divided into fragments, each fragment deeming itself a nation. Well, as I reread this very prophetic poem, I couldn't help but think of all of you, all of those young people out there who are growing up in such unusual and chaotic times. But please, even though that perhaps you may be too young to fully understand, please know that this is not normal. I think all of you who have learned through your religious education classes, learning about, quote, the inherent worth and dignity of each person. And then when you watch the leader of our nation openly mock, bully, and intimidate anyone who he deems weak or unimportant. A leader who derides our fallen soldiers and prisoners of war as, quote, suckers and losers. As Khalil Gibran says, pity the nation that acclaims the bully as hero. I worry about your future when I see a culture of complacency and apathy take over, where mindless tweeting and shameless posting take priority over engaging in our political process, in protesting, in writing, in making art, in raising your voice in song, and using your hands to help build the beloved community. A community that works towards justice and equity and compassion and human relations. I worry that far too often that community is hard to find. For as Gibran says, pity the nation that raises not its voice. I mourn and grieve and sometimes shout to the heavens when I see another one of our black neighbors killed for the simple crime of being black. I see in all of your faces the desire for us to build a world community with peace and liberty and justice for all. If that sounds familiar, it's because it's one of our UU principles. Knowing that we must first stand on the side of those who have been historically and systemically oppressed and forgotten, because we know that all lives can't matter until black lives do. For after the murder of George Floyd, Khalil Gibran could not have been more prophetic when he wrote, "Pity the nation that will not rebel when its neck is laid between the sword and the block." Finally, I'm deeply concerned about the loss of some of our core democratic processes. Through the infusion of big money into our electoral process, through a concerted effort to disenfranchise voters, and through casting doubt on the legitimacy of legal ballots. None of this is normal. And it rips at the very heart of our American democracy, leaving us in our own camps of outraged citizens who seem to be okay with whatever our leaders do as long as they play on our team. As Gibran states, pity the nation divided into fragments, each fragment deeming itself a nation. Pity the nation that welcomes its new ruler with trumpeting and farewells him with hooting, only to welcome another with trumpeting again. There does seem to be much in our country these days that is worthy of pity, worthy of despair, worthy of fear. And some may even feel that I, as your minister, should not be talking about these political issues from the pulpit, that it's simply not appropriate, that religion should stay away from politics. But my friends, make no mistake about it. Our Unitarian Universalist values are on that ballot in November. For our faith that espouses no one dogma or creed, that allows us to have an open and responsible search for our own truth and meaning making, it does not then let us off the hook when it comes to living our UU values in the world. Not when governmental policies are hurting people. For centuries, we proud UUs have always strived to be the love and to be the change that we wish to see in the world. We have always fought for those who have been forgotten, abandoned, and left behind. We have always stood on the side of love. So this November, let's UU that vote like our lives depend on it, because my friends, they do. Amen? Amen. Our closing hymn this morning is "We Would Be One."